Imagine you're strolling through a park on a crisp autumn morning. The leaves are gold, the coffee is warm, and suddenly, zoom, a blur of fur whips across the path, darts up a tree, and vanishes behind a canopy of branches. You blink, you smile, and you think, what on earth was that? That, my curious friends, is a squirrel, a creature that has managed to turn the mundane act of nut gathering into a full-blown Olympic sport, a master of acrobatics, and frankly, a tiny furry comedian who's been stealing the show since the dawn of forests. But wait, what exactly is a squirrel? Why does it have that gloriously fluffy tail? And why do some of them look like they've just stepped out of a 1970s fur coat, while others look like they've been hitting the gym? Stick around, because we're about to crack open the secret life of the sciurid family, reveal the shocking differences between red and grey squirrels, and discover how these bushy-tailed wonders survive, thrive, and occasionally drive us a little nuts. Description: what it is. Let's start with the basics. A squirrel is a rodent. Yes, a rodent. Same family as your friendly neighborhood rat, but with a lot more style. Squirrel, the scientific clan, includes tree squirrels, ground squirrels, chipmunks, and even the enigmatic flying squirrels. They're characterized by a slender body, large expressive eyes, and that iconic tail that could double as a personal parachute or a fashion statement. Their fur can be a rainbow of hues, from rusty reds and soft greys to sleek blacks, and in some exotic locales, a striking white that makes them look like they've been dipped in frosting. But the most recognizable trait? That tail. It's not just for show, it acts as a counterbalance when they leap from branch to branch, a blanket when the temperature drops, and a visual beacon that says, hey, I'm over here, follow the fluff. Squirrels are obligate herbivores, but don't let that label fool you. They have a varied diet that would make a nutritionist weep with joy. Acorns, hazelnuts, pine cones, berries, fungi, and occasionally a juicy insect or two when protein cravings hit. They are meticulous hoarders, burying thousands of nuts across their territory, a behaviour called scatter hoarding. This isn't just a quirky hobby, it's a vital ecological service. By forgetting where they stashed a few seeds, they inadvertently plant entire forests. Talk about an accidental gardener. Physically, squirrels are built for speed. Their hind limbs are longer than their front ones, giving them a powerful spring. Their ankles can rotate a whooping 180 degrees, allowing them to descend trees head first, a skill that would make any parkour enthusiast jealous. Their teeth never stop growing, much like a perpetually remodeling DIY project, and they keep them in check by gnawing on hard shells. In short, they are the ultimate survivalists wrapped in a cute, fluffy package. Red versus grey, the Great Squirrel Showdown. Now let's talk about the most iconic rivalry in the squirrel world, the red squirrel versus the grey squirrel. Think of them as the Batman and the Joker of the forest. Same genus, but polar opposite personalities and fashion choices. Red squirrels, Sciurus vulgaris, the original, are the native Europeans, sporting a rust-red coat that fades to a cream-colored belly. They're smaller, sleeker, and have those trademark tufted ears that give them an air of aristocratic elegance. Their tail is slightly less flamboyant, but don't be fooled. It still works over time as a balance aid and a mood ring. Well, mood tail. Red squirrels are hyperactive, constantly on the move, and they have a particular fondness for conifer seeds. Grey squirrels, Sciurus carolinensis, the invaders, are the North American cousins that made a bold fashion statement when they landed in Europe in the late 19th century. They're larger, with a plush grey-brown coat that sometimes shows a subtle hint of white on the belly. Their tails are bushier, almost like a fluffy plume you'd see on a 1920s flapper. Grey squirrels are more adaptable, comfortable in urban parks, and they've developed a taste for a wider menu, including acorns and even human leftovers, looking at you picnickers. But the differences go beyond looks. Red squirrels are solitary by nature, defending a small territory with fierce determination. Grey squirrels, on the other hand, are more social, forming loose colonies and sharing space with surprising tolerance. Behaviorally, reds are more vocal. They'll chatter, scold, and even do a little tail flag dance to warn off intruders. Greys are more laid back, preferring to stash food in hidden caches rather than broadcasting their location. Ecologically, the grey squirrel has become something of a bully. In the UK, for instance, the non-native grey has outcompeted the native red, partly because greys are more efficient at fat storage and can eat a broader diet. This competition has led to a dramatic decline in red squirrel populations, prompting conservation efforts and even legal protection in some regions. So next time you see a grey squirrel lounging on a park bench, give a nod to its more endangered cousin. Life cycle, from nut to nut lover. Let's follow a squirrel from birth to, well, the inevitable encounter with a hungry hawk. It's a tale of drama, danger, and occasional cuteness overload. Mating season. In temperate zones, the squirrel romance usually kicks off in late winter. Males called bucks become roamers, sniffing out females' does in estrus. The chase is nothing short of a slapstick comedy. Dozens of males racing up trees, leaping across branches, and sometimes crashing into each other in a flurry of fur. The females are picky. They'll often allow the most vigorous, or perhaps the most persistent, suitor to win. Gestation and birth. After a brief pregnancy of about 38 to 45 days, the female gives birth to a litter of 2 to 6 hairless blind kittens. Yes, they're called kittens, not pups. The nest, called a dray, is a cozy affair of leaves, twigs, and moss, tucked into a tree cavity or a leafy arboreal pad. For the first few weeks, the mother nurses her young, keeping them warm and safe. The father, being the typical rodent dad, usually bows out after mating, leaving the mother to handle all the parenting duties. Juvenile stage. By around 6 weeks, the kittens open their eyes and start exploring the nest. They begin nibbling on solid food, soft seeds, berries, and the occasional tender leaf. Their mother teaches them the art of foraging, showing them where the richest nut patches are and how to evade predators. This training is crucial. The world is full of dangers, from hawks and foxes to domestic cats, and the occasional over-enthusiastic dog. Maturation. At about 3 to 4 months, the young squirrels strike out on their own, establishing their own home ranges. They'll spend the next several months perfecting their navigation skills, learning to locate hidden caches, and mastering the high wire act of tree-to-tree travel. Lifespan. In the wild, a squirrel's life is a roller coaster. Most live only 2 to 4 years, but with a bit of luck, fewer predators, abundant food, they can push up to 6 or even 10 years. In captivity, they've been known to celebrate their 12th birthday, though that's rarer than a golden retriever at a cat cafe. Reproduction. Squirrels can produce 1 to 2 litters per year, depending on the climate. In more temperate zones, they may have 2 litters, one in early spring, another in late summer. This prolific reproduction is part of what makes them such a successful species, although it also means they're constantly battling for resources. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the world of squirrels, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the What Is channel. Stick around. More fascinating facts are just around the corner. Next, let's look at where squirrels call home. Habitat, where the squirreling happens. If you think squirrels are just park-dwelling fluffballs, think again. These critters have colonized everything from dense hardwood forests to bustling city parks, and even the occasional suburban backyard. Forested homes. The classic tree squirrel's habitat is a mix of deciduous and coniferous forests. They love oak, beech, and hickory for the bounty of nuts, and conifers for shelter. A mature forest provides a perfect balance: abundant food, suitable nesting sites, and a network of branches for the squirrel's high-speed pursuits. Urban jungles. Cities have become unexpected sanctuaries. Parks, gardens, and even rooftop balconies become hunting grounds. Urban squirrels have learned to navigate traffic, crack open bird feeders, and, much to the delight of city kids, perform daring leaps between buildings. Their adaptability is a testament to their resourcefulness. They'll nest in anything from tree hollows to abandoned building corners. Ground-dwelling relatives. Let's not forget the ground squirrels, chipmunks, marmots, and prairie dogs. They prefer open habitats, grasslands, meadows, and rocky outcrops. They burrow elaborate tunnel systems, creating underground cities that can stretch for meters. These ground dwellers are more social, living in colonies and sharing the workload of excavation. Geographic range. Squirrels are practically global. The red squirrel roams Europe and northern Asia. The grey squirrel dominates North America and has been introduced to parts of Europe, South Africa, and even Japan. There are over 280 species worldwide, each tailored to its own niche. From the tiny African pygmy squirrel to the robust Siberian flying squirrel, there's a squirrel for every climate and continent. Population and status. Squirrels by the numbers. Let's talk numbers, because what's a wildlife story without a little data to chew on? Global estimates. It's tricky to get an exact count, given their secretive nature and wide range, but scientists estimate there are anywhere from 2 to 5 billion squirrels worldwide. That's more than the entire human population of Europe. Red squirrel. In the UK, the red squirrel population has been in decline for decades. Current estimates place them at roughly 15,000 to 20,000 individuals, mainly concentrated in Scotland, northern England, and a few isolated pockets in Ireland. In mainland Europe, numbers are healthier, but still vulnerable, especially in areas where grey squirrels have taken over. Grey squirrel. Conversely, the grey squirrel is abundant in North America, with estimates in the hundreds of millions. In the UK alone, there are thought to be over 5 million greys, an army of bushy-tailed invaders that have outcompeted the reds in many regions. Conservation status. The IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, lists the red squirrel as endangered in parts of its range, while the grey squirrel is classified as least concern, a classic case of the invasive species thriving at the expense of the native. Human impact. Habitat loss, road mortality, and competition from invasive species are the biggest threats to squirrel populations. However, squirrels have also benefited from human feeders, especially in winter, and from the increase of urban green spaces. Their population dynamics are a vivid reminder of how quickly nature can shift when we alter the playing field. Interesting factoid. Squirrels can remember the location of thousands of hidden nuts. Some studies suggest they can recall up to 5,000 caches. That's a memory that would make any to-do list jealous. Squirrels in pop culture. Let's pause for a chuckle. Squirrels have a habit of popping up in our lives in the most unexpected ways. In the classic cartoon Chip and Dale, two mischievous chipmunks constantly outwit Donald Duck, a perfect example of squirrel mischief. The internet's Squirrel Girl is an Avengers-level superhero who once defeated an entire army of supervillains, proving that even a tiny rodent can be a force to reckon with. And who can forget the viral video of a squirrel stealing a whole pizza slice right off a New York street vendor's table? That's a crime of opportunity that would make any pickpocket proud. Squirrels also have a surprisingly rich symbolic history. In Native American folklore, the squirrel is often a messenger of alertness and preparation, traits we can all admire. In Celtic mythology, the squirrel represented the soul's journey between worlds, a tiny psychopomp hopping through the forest of life. These moments of humor and cultural resonance remind us that squirrels aren't just ecological actors, they're part of our collective imagination. So what is a squirrel? It's a rodent, an acrobat, a hoarder, a gardener, and a comedic sidekick all rolled into one fluffy package. From the rusty red of the European forests to the sleek grey of the North American parks, from their astonishing memory for hidden nuts to their daring treetop chases, squirrels are a testament to nature's endless creativity. Next time you see that twitchy tail zooming past, pause, smile, and appreciate the tiny marvel bouncing through your neighborhood. And remember, every acorn they bury could become the oak of tomorrow. If you love this deep dive into the world of squirrels, Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more What Is episodes. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new adventure. And if you have a quirky squirrel story of your own, drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear it.